very good morning. You're tuned in to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with the breakfast news. These are the headlines this Saturday morning. Last day of campaigning for the final phase of Assam elections and part 2 of the phase 1 of West Bengal elections today. Global economic body OECD calls special session of countries on the 13th of April in Paris to firm up cooperation between countries in the wake of Panama Papers leak. Worldwide political fallouts of the revelations continue. Prime Minister says centre working on permanent solution to drought as central teams head to drought-hit areas to assess availability of water. Medical services in Latur in Maharashtra hit due to water shortage. Key suspect in last year's Paris attacks arrested by Belgian authorities. Investigators trying to determine his connection with the Brussels bombing as well. And belligerent North Korea says it has successfully tested engine designed for an intercontinental ballistic missile. Pyongyang says it guarantees ability to launch nuclear strike on the United States. Well, in the wake of severe drought conditions in as many as 9 states, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said his government is working on a plan to irrigate parched farmlands in order to arrive at a permanent solution to drought. He said this while addressing an election rally in Assam yesterday. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Northern Karnataka, southwestern Uttar Pradesh have been under the grip of severe water crisis. Meanwhile, Central Water Commission teams will be sent to drought-affected areas across the country to assess availability of water and prepare reports based on the information collected. Union Minister Uma Bharti said that one such CWC team is already visiting water-starved Latur district in Maharashtra. Her comments come in the wake of criticism of the Maharashtra government over its use of water for the IPL, while several districts in the state are parched. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, however, said no potable water is being used for the IPL tournament. Meanwhile, one of the 2 goods trains carrying 50 tank wagons of water for drought-affected areas of Latur departed from Kota. This comes as Ramkund, the sacred bathing ghat on Godavari in Nasik, went dry for the first time in over 139 years. The situation in Latur is so grim that hospitals are facing water shortage, badly affecting medical facilities.
पानी के संकट के लिए बहुत चिंतित रहती हैं। आज उन्होंने कुछ प्रस्ताव हमारे सामने रखे हैं। जल बंटवारे को लेकर के भी हरियाणा और दिल्ली और अन्य राज्यों के साथ जो उनकी समस्याएं हैं उनको हमारे सामने रखा है। हमने अधिकारियों के साथ बैठ के विचार विमर्श किया है और हमारा मंत्रालय पूरी तरह से राजस्थान का सहयोग करेगा। हमने सेंटर वाटर कमीशन को अपनी रिपोर्ट देने के लिए कहा है। वो टीमें सब जगह पर जा रही हैं और अपनी रिपोर्ट दे रही हैं।
And time now for all the election-related news in our special segment, Verdict 2016. It is the last day of campaigning for the second phase of assembly elections in Assam and the second part of the first phase of elections in West Bengal that will be held on the 11th of April. Candidates as well as political parties are carrying out meetings and door-to-door visits, making every possible effort to woo the voters with promises of all-round development and providing safety and security to the common public. 61 seats go to the polls in the second phase, in which 523 candidates will contest. Guwahati, Lower Assam and Bodoland areas will vote in the final phase. Now, Congress is contesting in 57 seats, while the BJP is contesting on 35 seats, while its allies on 19 seats. Alliance partner BPK is fighting on 10 seats. The second part of the first phase of polling in West Bengal will also take place on the 11th of April. Voting will take place on 31 seats. 163 candidates are in the fray for this phase, in which over 70 lakh people are expected to exercise their franchise. And some more election news in this quick election wrap. Hours after Tripura's Congress Legislature Party leader Sudeep Roy Burman resigned over his party's alliance with the Left Front in West Bengal, 4 other Congress leaders on Friday quit party positions on the issue. Sitting MLA Ashish Saha, State Youth Congress President Sushant Chaudhary, West Tripura Lok Sabha constituency's Youth Congress President Vicky Prasad and East Tripura Lok Sabha seat's Youth Congress Chief Rantu Dev resigned from their posts. The Election Commission appointed special surveillance teams have recovered illegal cash of over 52 crore rupees from the 5 states facing assembly polls, with Tamil Nadu leading the list following a total seizure of 21 crore 4 lakh. Assam is second on the list with 11 crore 63 lakh. In Kerala, the figure stands at 9 crore 65 lakh, while 9 crore 3 lakh have been seized from West Bengal as well. Puducherry has seen seizures of 16.88 lakh. Senior party leader P. Chidambaram is among 27 members of the Tamil Nadu Pradesh Election Committee, which was announced by the All India Congress Committee. Besides PCC Chief E. Ilangovan, the committee also has several former union ministers, including Manishankar Iyer and R. Prabhu. Congress is part of the DMK-led front in the poll-bound state and has been allotted 41 seats. Malayalam film director Rajasenan is among the 23 BJP candidates whose names have been announced for the 16th May Kerala Assembly polls. Now, with the announcement of the third list of candidates, the party has so far declared 96 out of the total 140 seats. BJP has joined hands with the political wing of the influential SNDP, which draws its support from the numerically strong Azawa community. The Election Commission has requested RBI to provide inputs on their estimation that cash worth 60,000 crore rupees may be in circulation in 4 poll-bound states. Chief Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi also cited an SBI statement in this regard and said action is being taken. In some other news, the Uttarakhand High Court yesterday deferred to 18th April a hearing on the ongoing political crisis in the state. This was after 9 disqualified rebel Congress MLAs sought adjournment on the ground that their counsel was not available. This attracted strong remarks from the High Court bench that included Chief Justice K. Joseph and Justice V.K. Bisht. The bench said it had been made clear to the rebel MLAs yesterday that the hearing will take place. Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi will now open the argument on behalf of the central government on the 18th of April. The court also extended till then the operation of an earlier order, keeping on hold the direction of the single-judge bench that the floor test should be held to decide the majority of the government. And on to the latest from the Panama Papers leak. The global economic body OECD has called a special session of countries, including India, on the 30th of April in Paris to firm up cooperation between countries in the wake of that massive paper leak. About 500 Indians have figured for holding offshore assets in the tax haven nation. India adheres to a number of OECD norms for strengthening overseas tax cooperation and also exchange of information. At the first meeting of a specially constituted multi-agency group probe held in New Delhi on Thursday, it was decided to approach the global body along with another similar forum, the FATF, for support in this regard. A final decision on India's representation will be taken now by the government. Criticism of the government by the opposition continue, with Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi questioning Prime Minister Modi's silence on the matter. The CPIM has also sought confiscation of illegal assets of those named in the Panama list.
अब यहाँ पे चुनाव में आए हैं, उन्होंने आपको वायदा किया कि मैं काला धन वापस लाऊंगा, तो एक शब्द तो कहना चाहिए, उन्होंने एक ये तो समझाना चाहिए कि मेरा जो छत्तीसगढ़ का चीफ मिनिस्टर है उसके बेटे का वहां पे अकाउंट है, उसके बारे में कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं कर रहा हूं वो तो कहना चाहिए। ये भी कहना चाहिए कि 15 लाख रुपए क्यों नहीं ला पाए।
When this matter came out, immediately the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, called for a meeting. The finance minister is on record even as recent as today that action will be taken and no guilty person will be spared. This is not like the Congress party's UPA time, where scams were undertaken, scams were hidden by the government, and it took the Supreme Court to cancel licenses whenever these mega scams happened. So if anyone, no matter who that person is guilty of breaking the laws of India, action will be taken.
इसमें कई नाम ऐसे लोगों के भी हैं जो भाजपा के नेताओं के करीब हैं, इसलिए अरुण जेटली ही मस्ट कम क्लीन ऑन इट कि किसी के सबके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जाएगी और किसी को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा.
And on to the international fallout of the leak. Argentine President Mauricio Macri's ties to the Panama Papers leak has become a talking point, with the president sending documents to the court to clarify his case. Mokri said he has nothing to hide as a federal prosecutor called for an investigation against him. British Prime Minister David Cameron is also under pressure to come clean over personal financial affairs after his father was named in the Panama Papers. Cameron admitted after initially denying that he did benefit from his father's offshore funds. Criticism of Cameron also coming from the French foreign minister. Meanwhile, China has said it needs more clarity on the revelations after the documents pointed at offshore companies linked to the families of Chinese President Xi Jinping. Meanwhile, Thailand is investigating 16 people, including current and former politicians, as well as well-known business people whose names appeared in the Panama Papers.
Well, I think David Cameron has got big questions to answer. It appears as if this information has had to be dragged out of him. The comments he made earlier in the week would seem to suggest that there was nothing that he had to reveal about his involvement with his father's offshore funds, and that turns out now not to be the case.
Concernant David Cameron, vous ne pouvez pas répondre, certes, mais lui se défend en disant « j'ai apuré tout ça en 2010 », on ne va pas rentrer dans le détail. Pour vous, qu'est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose d'immoral ou est-ce qu'il n'y a pas de sujet si ça est...
中国的反腐的斗争正在继续的进行当中，正像我们的领导人所说的，反腐永远在路上。至于你提到的一个所谓的文件，我们看到巴拿马方面也在做出一些表白和澄清，恐怕我们首先需要把它搞清楚到底是怎么回事。
We'll take a short break here, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
My father was a Tamil teacher, and in fact, he was responsible for my building up. The orderliness in the lifestyle was brought by my father. In India, my feeling is that primary education has to be strengthened heavily. Vices are established by the Act of Parliament to have a high-quality science education.
Watch Eureka with Professor V. Ramakrishnan, Director, Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Thiruvananthapuram, on Rajya Sabha Television.
Thanks for staying with us. News now from the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The situation remains grim for the fourth day in a row in the state. Fresh protests rocked the NIT campus in Srinagar as outstation students took out a march to press for their demands. Meanwhile, the state government has assured security to the students of the institute. A time-bound probe has also been ordered into the violence.
It was the fourth day of protests by outstation students at Srinagar NIT. They were stopped by security forces from venturing out of the gates. Anxious parents claimed on Friday that they couldn't contact their wards. The students are demanding that their institute be shifted from Kashmir and action taken against policemen who lathi charged them.
ये सरासर गलत है। ये हमारे बच्चों पर अत्याचार कर रहे हैं। ये किसी तरीके से उनको फंसाना चाहते हैं। ये ना हमारी गवर्नमेंट कुछ कर रही है, ना कोई सेंटर से कोई आया। तो हमारे बच्चे 10 दिन से वहाँ कैद पड़े हुए हैं, ना उनको उनकी कोई खाने पीने का भी अच्छा प्रबंध नहीं हो रहा।
बात तो हो रही है, पर वो भी इतने डरे हुए हैं, हम भी इतने डरे हुए हैं। ये हमें ये डर लगता है हमारे बच्चों से कहीं कुछ और ना हो जाए जो हम बर्दाश्त ना कर पाए, इसलिए हम चाहते हैं हमारे बच्चों को सही सुरक्षा जो भी ठीक ठाक सब कुछ करें।
So the first of all is that the students should be evacuated as early as possible. So they should be sent to their homes. So the second one is, and these are non-negotiable demands. The second one is that the NIT campus to be shifted to any other part of India.
On Friday, Home Minister Rajnath Singh discussed the situation with NSA Ajit Doval. The state government insists that full security will be provided to outstation students.
All their concern with regard to their academic career shall be addressed. So far as the security is concerned, that's our concern. That's my concern. I'm saying it personal, that I'm taking personal interest.
No, as far as NIT is concerned, we have been given to understand by the state government that it would take to task all those who've been responsible for having caused violence against students, which we believe was unwarranted. An inquiry, I believe, has been instituted, and they would submit the report and fix the responsibility.
The opposition, however, has been unrelenting in its criticism of the manner in which the government has handled the situation.
ऐसे में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो दोहरापन और दोगलापन है वो पूरी तरह से एक्सपोज होता है। मैं ऐसी अपेक्षा करता हूं, हमारी पार्टी ऐसी अपेक्षा करता है कि एनआईटी में जो देशभक्त छात्र हैं उनके हितों की, उनके भावनाओं की रक्षा होनी चाहिए और छात्रों के साथ खिलवाड़ नहीं होना चाहिए। और अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी उन छात्रों के हितों की रक्षा नहीं कर पा रही है तो कश्मीर में सत्ता में रहने का कोई हक नहीं उनको।
एनआईटी में शांति प्रयास स्थापित करने के प्रयास होने चाहिए। वहां पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है और उसके रहते देश विरोधी नारे लगे और कश्मीर से बाहर के छात्रों के साथ बदसलूकी हुई, बीजेपी को इस पर अफसोस जाहिर करना चाहिए।
Tension has been simmering in the NIT campus since last week when clashes broke out following celebrations over India's loss to the West Indies in the World T20 semi-finals. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh held a meeting with top officials yesterday to discuss the fallout of Pakistan's refusal to allow an NIA team to visit that country to further probe the Pathankot attack. Now, India had countered Pak High Commissioner Abdul Basit's claim that there was no deal on reciprocity.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh called a meeting of top officials, including NSA Ajit Doval, on Friday to discuss the security situation in the country. The meeting comes on the back of Pakistan denying permission to an NIA team to visit the country in connection with the Pathankot attack probe. Pakistan High Commissioner Abdul Basit had said on Thursday that the visit of a Pakistani joint investigation team to India was not based on reciprocity, but more about extending cooperation.
I think at present it is suspended. So let's see if we are able to commence the dialogue process. This whole investigation is not about the question of reciprocity in my view. It is more about extending cooperation or our two countries cooperating with each other to get to the bottom of the incident.
Basit's remarks came as a blow to India as it had expected that Pakistan would allow NIA investigators to visit the country. The MEA countered Basit's statement saying before the Pak JIT's visit, both sides had agreed that it would be on the basis of reciprocity.
पाकिस्तान का जो हाई कमिश्नर इंडिया में है, उन्होंने जो कहा वो गलत कहा है और उससे दोनों देशों के बीच में संबंध है उसमें कोई मदद नहीं मिलेगा। इसलिए इस तरह का बातें नहीं करना चाहिए जिससे दोनों देशों के बीच में संबंध में कोई गड़बड़ी हो। इसलिए सोच समझ करके कहना चाहिए।
Meanwhile, the BJP-led NDA government has come in for a lot of criticism from opposition parties over what they call is a failure of bilateral ties.
It is adding insult to injury that they and not us are the ones who suspend the peace talks after doing nothing on Pathankot. So I think the government has messed it up completely. There cannot be a bigger mess up. Pakistanis are to blame is not in doubt. But what about the government of India unfortunately playing into their hands?
समय है जब पाकिस्तान के रिश्तों को लेकर के भारत सरकार को, प्रधानमंत्री को और विदेश मंत्री को, समूचे विपक्ष को विश्वास में लेकर के नई रणनीति तैयार करनी चाहिए।
Meanwhile, the US has urged India and Pakistan to hold talks to reduce tensions. It believes that both sides will benefit from practical cooperation. The US's response came just hours after Basit announced that the bilateral peace process stands suspended. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the NIA has secured non-bailable arrest warrants against Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar, his brother Abdul Rauf and two others for allegedly conspiring to carry out terror strike on the strategic Indian Air Force base in Pathankot. A special NIA court based in Mohali issued the open-ended non-bailable warrant against Azhar, his brother, main handlers Kashif Jan and Shahid Latif for allegedly entering into a criminal conspiracy with the Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists for carrying out a terror strike here in India. The warrant was issued after weighing the evidence presented by NIA before it, which included telephonic conversation between the terrorists and the Jaish handlers like Jan and Latif. The video of Rauf, brother of Azhar, was also presented before the court. Now, the non-bailable warrant will be sent to Interpol. India had built a strong case for proscribing Azhar as terrorist at the United Nations, but the move was vetoed by China. Meanwhile, Beijing has said that it was in close communication with India over its decision to block New Delhi's bid to have Pakistan-based terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar designated as a terrorist by the United Nations. China has said that it is opposed to all forms of terrorism and is willing to step up pragmatic cooperation with all countries. And amidst all this, Pakistan's top diplomat Sartaj Aziz was left red-faced when the Afghan ambassador Omar Zakilwal accused Islamabad of being the main hurdle in achieving peace process with the Taliban. The Afghan envoy also blamed the tensions in bilateral ties for the lack of progress in the long-stalled peace process. He was speaking at a panel discussion at the Jinnah Institute in Islamabad. Zakilwal said there was a need for genuine and frank dialogue between Afghanistan and Pakistan for peace to prevail on both sides. The Afghan envoy reminded Pakistan that elements supporting violence in Afghanistan continue to use Pakistani territory for this. Meanwhile, Aziz said nobody can dictate terms to the Afghan government or the Afghan Taliban for that matter for reconciliation. He said the Quadrilateral Coordination Group, which includes Afghanistan, China, Pakistan and the United States, would have to collectively decide how to deal with elements refusing to join the peace process. Even after multiple talks, the four members have so far failed to convince the Taliban to talk peace with the Kabul government. And moving on to some other significant global news, there's been a big breakthrough by the Belgian authorities investigating the Brussels terror attacks. They've arrested at least 5 people, one of them also being a key suspect in last year's Paris attacks. Investigators are now trying to determine whether Mohammed Abrini is the man in the hat seen in an airport surveillance video moments before one of the 2 deadly terror attacks in Brussels. Now, the arrests mark a signal of success for the Belgian security services, which have faced fierce criticism at home and also abroad since the terror attacks in Brussels that claimed 32 lives.
Mohammed Abrini, the only remaining key suspect in November's Paris terror attacks, was arrested on Friday in Brussels. Several of his associates, allegedly involved in last month's bombings in Brussels, have also been taken into custody by Belgian authorities.
Mohammed Abrini was arrested at Place Albert in Anderlecht. At the same moment, 2 other persons have been arrested. Fingerprints and DNA of Abrini were retrieved not only in the safe houses in Rue Max Roos Schaarbeek and Rue de Ries, Forêt, but also in the vehicle Renault Clio that was used during the Paris attacks.
As per the Belgian media, Abrini is likely to be the man in the hat seen on CCTV footage before the bomb blast at the Brussels airport departure hall on 22nd of March. Another suspect, Osama K, will also be investigated over the bomb attack on the metro that followed the airport bombing. Prosecutors say Osama was filmed in Brussels buying sports bags, which were used to hide the airport and metro station bombs.
The investigation into the Paris attacks has shown that Osama K was picked up in Ulm, Germany, and brought to Belgium on October 3, 2015 with a rental car hired by Salah Abdeslam. The investigators are now verifying whether Osama K can be positively identified as being the second person present at the time of the attack in the Maalbeek subway station.
Abrini and Osama are suspected of playing a key role in 2 of the biggest attacks carried out by the Islamic State group in Europe over the past year, killing 130 people in Paris and 32 in Brussels. 31-year-old Abrini is a Belgian national of Moroccan origin. He was filmed at a petrol station with Salah Abdeslam, the other suspect arrested in the Paris attacks just 2 days before the attacks in Brussels. Abrini and brothers Salah and Brahim Abdeslam were all childhood friends from Brussels. In the last 1 year, Abrini is also believed to have travelled multiple times to Syria and Birmingham, meeting with several men suspected of terrorist activity. Following the arrests on Friday, Belgium has once again been put on high alert. Security measures have been stepped up at all major transport hubs. Even in France, undercover police officers have been deployed on trains and buses to prevent future attacks. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, North Korea claims to have successfully tested an engine designed for an intercontinental ballistic missiles. As per its state agency, this new type of engine would guarantee the ability to launch a nuclear strike on the United States mainland. The test was conducted at the country's long-range missile launch site near its west coast and is the latest in a series of tests and launches carried out by Pyongyang this year. In March, North Korea had said it had developed nuclear warheads small enough to fit on ballistic missiles. Leader Kim Jong-un himself supervised the test. The Korean Central News Agency quoted Kim as saying that the North can now tip intercontinental ballistic missiles with more powerful nuclear warheads that could keep the US mainland within striking distance and reduce them to ashes. The recent test comes in the wake of indiscriminate threats by Pyongyang to carry out nuclear strikes on the United States and its ally, South Korea. On now to all the sports news. The 9th edition of the Indian Premier League got off to a glitzy start with performances from several Bollywood celebrities and international bands. The 2-hour-long event was less spectacular as compared to the previous editions, but the Cine stars still managed to put up an entertaining show, enthralling the gathering at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Stadium at the National Sports Club of India in Mumbai. Bollywood actors Ranveer Singh, Katrina Kaif, Jacqueline Fernandez and Punjabi rapper Yo-Yo Honey Singh and West Indian cricketer Dwayne Bravo kept the audience glued to their seats during the opening gala, which was attended by BCCI top brass, franchisee team owners, players and support staff of all the 8 participating teams. The IPL matches in Maharashtra have been criticised considering the drought situation in the state. However, after the High Court ruling, the opening match between Mumbai Indians and new outfit rising Pune Super Giants will take place as scheduled on Saturday, that's today, at the Wankhede Stadium. And ace Indian shuttler Saina Nehwal sealed a semi-final spot with a hard-fought victory in the Malaysian Open tournament. World number 8 Saina recovered from a game deficit to beat Thailand's Pontip Burana Prasatsuk 19-21, 21-14, 21-14. The Olympic bronze medalist will now meet Tai Tzu Ying of the Chinese Taipei. Saina has a 5-8 record against the shuttler, who's beaten the Indian in their last 5 meetings, including in last month's All England Championship. In the other quarterfinal, it was curtains down for PV Sindhu, who crumbled under pressure to bow out of the women's singles. The 2-time World Championship bronze medalist lost to Thailand's Ratchanok Intanon in straight games 7-21, 8-21. This was Sindhu's 4th defeat to her Thai opponent in their last 5 meetings. And some other sports news in the Sports Beat. The Supreme Court said yesterday that the Board of Control for Cricket in India was refusing to be reformed after the board's lawyers refused to accept some of the proposals made by the Lodha panel. The panel had suggested structural changes in the BCCI to ensure more transparency in its operation. However, several recommendations like one state, one unit, one vote was met with serious opposition from the board's lawyers. Former world number 1 Venus Williams' attempt to win her 50th WTA title ended after she lost to Kazakhstan's Yulia Putintseva at the Volvo Car Open. The 35-year-old lost in 3 sets, 7-6, 2-6, 6-4 in the last 16. Liverpool captain Jordan Henderson will miss the rest of the English Premier League season due to knee injury. The midfielder, who damaged ligaments on Thursday's Europa League quarter-final draw at Borussia Dortmund, has been ruled out for 6 to 8 weeks and could be a doubt for England's Euro 2016 campaign. And that's it from us at the moment. Thanks for your time.